You had plenty money, 1922.
Welcome back to another episode of Talking Dirty with Joe Piconi, the podcast where we're all adults and sometimes you have to talk about things that maybe you would feel uncomfortable with, but we're here to let you know that it's okay. I would like to start this off on a sad note. My carbon monoxide detector was going off this morning, so I'm not sure if you're even going to get this. This could just be transmitted just for myself, and you might not even be getting it on the plane that you're on. I'm really not sure, but maybe we could use this video as an experiment. I just got a notification. So, today's episode, we're going to be talking about some of the emails that I received from people asking what kind of words they could use to attract a mate. And not only did they want to know about words, but they wanted to know about behaviors. So, one of the emails came from a girl who wanted to know, a woman who wanted to know how to persuade the males. And probably the finest way to do this, coming from me, is if you have a, did I say, that was a close one. Okay, so one of the things that you can do is you are, let's say the situation, you were on top of a bed. Well, you could use your hand to pat down at the bed and say something enticing, like, this was in Cosmopolitan. This isn't from me, but you could pat on the bed and say something like, hey, baby. Come here, baby. Babe. This was a challenge to do this. I hope you know. Challenging myself. So, that's number one. I probably could, kind of like the baseball rules. I went a little ahead of myself with that one. Let's do the baseball rules, which are first base, which is holding hands, and then second base is, I think that's a pat on the leg. Third base is, I think that's maybe just like a peck on the cheek. And then home is getting married and happily ever after. I'm not going to say a curse word. We're going to start with the holding hands. Maybe you can say certain things to get to hold hands that a girl or a guy would like. Remember the 80s. All people love talking about the 80s. So you can discuss Fraggle Rock is a great one, a good go-to to do. You can start singing the theme song, or talking about dozers, or maybe you could reenact being chased by those ogres. And this is just a good introduction. Who is this person that I'm with? Maybe I don't know a lot. Right here. Oh, face is getting all red. Another good one is and I saw this at the zoo. Did you know that what camels will do is they'll start foaming at the mouth and have a little drip? And I think that this is something that we could also do as humans. Maybe it's never been tried. This is untested. So this is something that I'm going to test out to see if this works or not. A little bit of foam, and rub your neck like this against a wooden post and keep rubbing it back and forth. You pluck a nose hair out. Another good one, the tank top right here. You'll see that sometimes it falls over the shoulder. A lot of schools will not allow children to wear their tank tops with the a strap over the shoulder. This is something that started in the 80s again. We're talking about Silverhawks. There was a character who had a tube top that had sleeve strap that went over the shoulder, and I think that this became in fashion because of Silverhawks. But that's very sexy to have that over the shoulder like that. It's so hot in here. Now I only have a couple more minutes to talk to you about third base and home base. Third base being peck on the cheek, home base being getting married, starting a life together. And what you can do to get to third base is remember the 80s. We talked about Silverhawks, we talked about Fraggle Rock. If this is a girl that you're trying to win over, there are a couple of really obscure cartoons that you can talk about that a lot of girls only women will remember. And those cartoons are Strawberry Shortcake, Rainbow Bright, Jem and the Rockers, Josie and the Pussycats, Pebbles from Bam Bam and Pebbles, the Flintstones Kids, The Land Before Time, and Rugrats is more 90s. but you can talk about Angelica and Lil, the girls on that show, and that will probably win them over enough to get a peck on a cheek. Okay, I only have a couple more minutes to do home, but this is the funnest one, because now you're home. And I said for home, that's when you have a home, you're married and you have a house, and this is when you're probably not going to be talking about 80s cartoons and TV shows as much. So you're probably going to be trying to live out those 80s and possibly 90s shows like Designing Women and Murphy Brown, where you'll have fun with each other and chase each other around like they did on those shows. They're running after each other and being witty and cutesy. It makes me laugh just thinking of it. And so that's, if you follow my advice to get to, I didn't say any dirty words. A good one to use if you want to say like a real bad curse. Do you know if they checked our house? See, I just got a text from my wife. That's about the carbon monoxide, because I called the fire department. I wasn't kidding about that. A lot of people send me emails thinking I'm making this stuff up. But home is, see, all the fun you could have when you have a house. Home life. And that's what it's all about, really. If you have any questions, I didn't say a curse word. I was about to. Is there an S one? I know there's an SH one, but is there just like a plain old S? Maybe next time. I'll save a curse word for the next one.